So our next topic is directing, right? So under directing, we are going to study the following topics. First, we'll get to know what directing is, and then we'll follow to the features of principle, and then the principles of directing, importance of directing, followed by steps of directing, and then the functions, elements, techniques, and two case studies on directing. So first, we'll come to directing. What basically directing is? Directing is a fundamental function of management that involves guiding, supervising, leading, and motivating employees to achieve the organizational goals effectively. Which means that under directing, there's a function which is known as under directing. What we do is there would be a superior, or we can say a subordinate would be there, who would be guiding or who would be leading and motivating the employees towards the attainment of the organizational objective. It compasses the process of issuing the instructions, or we would say it provides guidance and oversees the execution of tasks so as to ensure that the activities are carried out in alignment, or we can say in a synchronization towards the organizational objectives. Now the next topic is features of direct. First feature is distinctive attribute. The first feature is distinctive attributes, which means that this feature represents that the unique attributes or characteristics that are set for a product or for a service or even for the entire entity apart from the other categories, right? So these attributes, these can be tangible or sometimes these can be intangible and will always contribute to the overall identity and the value in the organization. Let us understand this with an example. For example, in we can take consumer electronics, right? So in consumer electronics, distinctive attributes may be it could be design, building, it could be building a quality, or it could be even innovation, or means innovative technology that could be used, or that would definitely differentiate the one product from those of the competitors product. In service department, we can say it could include customer care, or could include the speed of the delivery of the product, or even the other unique methodologies that competitors might not be offering, right? So the next feature is functional capabilities, which means that functional capabilities, it refers to the specific functionalities, or we can say, or to the different tasks that a product or services can perform. For example, let's say in a software application, functional capabilities could range from basic feature like text editing or even the spreadsheet calculation to the advanced capabilities like data visualization. It could be predictive analytics, or it could be even cloud integration, right? So for products, functional capabilities might include performance matrices like processing speed. It could include the storage capacity or even the durability under varying conditions. So these capabilities, these all define what users can accomplish with the product or services, and they can directly influence its utility from the market. Now, the next feature is user experience, which means that the features that are designed to enhance the user's experience, we would say. So it focuses on improving the usability, the accessibility, or even the satisfaction within the product or the service that is being offered by the organization. Now, this would encompass the aspects such as responsive design for different devices, for streamlining the workflow, and even for the personalized settings. Now, here users are going to experience the enhancement, right? So they would also include the features like reduction in the interactions, or minimizing the learning curves, or even providing them the consistent performance across the platforms, right? So by prioritizing the user-centric design, the organizations can always create positive impressions that will foster the loyalty, as well as it will also differentiate themselves from those of the competitors' products, right? So the next feature is value proposition, which means that this would contribute to the value proposition by addressing the specific customer's need, by their pain points, or by their desires effectively, right? So a strong value proposition, it will always articulate the unique benefits, and it will always advantage the customers. The customers can gain from using these products or services, right? Features aligned here, there would be a value. The value would with the value, the proposition will highlight on how to offer the solutions to the problems, or how to overcome the problems, or how to enhance the efficiency, and sometimes how to save the cost or even the time, right? Or how to improve the customers, or how to improve the outcomes, or it will also distinct with other distinctive advantages over different alternatives, right? So clear communication of the value here will help to attract target customers. It will also help to justify the pricing and will also differentiate the offerings in the marketplace. Now the next feature is scalability and flexibility, which means that this feature, it enables the products or the services to adapt and to grow in the response to the changing user demands, right? As per the changing environment with business requirements or even the market dynamics, whatever are trending in the market. Business requirements, right? For example, in technology scalability feature, it may include the ability to handle the increasing volume of data, right? Or it may include to accommodate more users concurrently, or to even scale the infrastructure resources dynamically. Now, this was scalability. Now, flexibility here, this feature will always allow the customization, this will allow the configuration or even the modular expansion to meet the diverse user needs, right? So that the product can be developed in a way which meets the diverse needs of the customers, right? So these capabilities, these will always enhance the long-term usability of the product. These will also support the business growth and will be a future-proof investment, right? By minimizing the needs for extensive replacement or even the upgrades. Here, the next feature is security and reliability. Security and reliability, this feature ensures the trustworthiness or the stability, or we can say the protection of products and services or the organizational systems. Security and reliability, which means that this feature, it ensures the trustworthiness, or we can say the stability and the protections of the product or services whatever are offered by the organization. So in the software and digital services, security features, it encompasses the encryption protocols, right? The authentication mechanism and even the data privacy controls. And these are very vulnerable, and these are the vulnerable practices to to safeguard the sensitive information of the organization and to prevent the unauthorized access which might occur from outside people. So reliability feature, it focuses on the minimizing the downtime, which means that it ensures the consistent performance of the product or the services, and it helps to implement the backup and the recovery procedures so as to maintain the operational continuity, right? So emphasizing on both these security and reliability uh, feature, it it will bring confidence among the users, which might mitigate the risk, as well as it will also helps to enhance the reputation in the competitive market. Now, the next feature is integration and interoperability, right? Which means that this feature, it enables the seamless integration and the compatibility between the products or the services or the system with other platforms or with other applications, or we can say with the prevailing technologies. So for software solutions only, we are taking the example here. The integration feature, this will include the application programming interfaces, like so that will facilitate the data exchange or the standards that ensures the compatibility across the different environments. In if we talk about the hardware products now, here the interoperability, this feature, it will enable the connectivity with the peripherals, or we can say with the networks, or even with the third party devices, which will enhance the functionality and even the usability of the product or the services offered, right? So by supporting these integrations, the organizations can enhance their user convenience, and they can expand their market reach, and they can also, it will also help them to foster the ecosystem partnerships that will derive the innovation and the customer value. So the next feature is support and maintenance. Support and maintenance feature, this ensures the service and the resources provided to the customers post purchase, to ensure the ongoing usability, to ensure the performance optimization, and even the customer satisfaction. This includes the technical support services, for example, troubleshooting, help desk assistance, and even the user training to address the inquiries, to resolve the issues, and to maximize the product or the service utilization. Maintenance feature, this involves the regular updates or the patches, or we can say it fixes the bugs, and this feature it enhances the improvement of the functionality. It will also address the security vulnerabilities, and it will help to adapt to the evolving user needs or to the industry standards, whatever are prevailing in the external environment, or whatever are the desires of the customers. Effective support and maintenance program. This will enhance the user experiences. It will prolong the product life cycle, and we can say that it will also help to build a long-term customer loyalty by demonstrating the commitment towards the customer success. By studying all these features, we can say that these elements they help to define the functionality, the usability. We saw the value and even the reliability of the products or the services, whatever the organization is offering. By understanding and effectively implementing these features, the business can easily differentiate they can easily differentiate themselves from the competitive markets. They can meet the customer expectations. They can derive the sustained growth and the success. Each feature that we have studied, each feature category plays a different role, or we can say it plays a very crucial role in enhancing the overall product or the service quality or user satisfaction and the organizational. Now, the next topic is principles of directive. So, the first principle is clarity of goals and objective, which means the goals or the objectives for whatever the organization has been laid down. These should be very clear. Means these should be communicated with a specific clarity, right? So the principle of clarity and objectivity, this emphasizes the importance of defining the clear goals or the objectives and the expectations for individual term, which means that clear direction should be given so as to ensure that everyone understands what needs to be achieved, why it is important, and how their efforts will contribute towards the organizational success. Managers should communicate the goals effectively, and they should also help to align them with the organization strategy. They should be able to provide the regular updates so as to maintain the clarity and the focus among the employees of the organization. Now, the second principle is effective communication. Effective communication, it means it is very crucial for the directing, as it facilitates the transmission of the information or the transmission of the instructions or the feedbacks and the expectations from the managers and the employees, right? So this principle involves using concise and even the timely communication methods so as to ensure the mutual understanding and the alignment among the employees. Managers should be able to encourage the open dialogue or the active listening, and should use the appropriate communication channels to convey their message, to resolve the issues, and even to foster a collaborative working environment in the organization. Now, the third principle is empowerment and accountability, which means that it involves delegating the authority and even the decision making responsibilities and the autonomy to the employees so that they can perform their roles effectively, right? So this principle it encourages the managers to empower the team members with the necessary resources, with the necessary support, and trust to make them informed regarding decisions and to take ownership of the task whatever they would be performing. So the accountability will ensure that the individuals are held responsible for their actions, for their performance outcomes, and they will also adhere to the organizational standards, or we can say the organizational rules and regulations. Managers should clarify the roles. They should set the performance expectations and should provide the guidance to the employees, and they should help to recognize the achievements, to foster the accountability and empower the employees for their well performance or the effective performance. Now, the fourth principle is adaptability and flexibility, which means the principle of adaptability. It emphasizes the ability to respond, or we can say to adapt to the changing circumstances or the challenges and the opportunities that comes in the organization process, right? So directors should demonstrate the flexibility in their adjusting plans or the strategies and the resources to accommodate the evolving priorities or the market conditions and the customer needs. Means they should be able to implement the changes as and when they are required. So this principle, it encourages a proactive approach to change the management for the innovation and for the continuous improvement, so as to maintain the organizational agility and the competitiveness. Fifth principle is motivation and engagement. These principles, these will focus on inspiring, on motivating, and even engaging the employees so that they can maximize their potential and the commitment towards the organizational goals. Effective directing will always involve the understanding between the individuals and the team, right? So it will help to recognize the achievements, and it will help in creating a supportive work environment that will foster the enthusiasm, that will foster the creativity and the initiatives by the employees, right? So managers should synchronize, they should align the task with employees strength and interest, and should provide the meaningful feedbacks, should offer the developmental opportunities, and should promote a culture of recognition and appreciation so as to sustain the high levels of motivation and the engagement. Now, the sixth principle is ethical conduct and integrity, which means that these are the principles that helps to guide the directing practices with honesty, with fairness, or we can say with transparency. Managers should, they should uphold the ethical standards. They should adhere to the legal and regulatory requirements, and should promote the ethical behaviors among the employees. Now, this emphasizes on making the decisions based on the ethical considerations, means which means that treating the stakeholders with respect and fairness, and they should also maintain a trust and credibility within the organization and the broader community. This principle, it emphasizes the importance of ongoing personal and professional development for the managers as well as for the employees. Directors should encourage, or the one who is giving the direction, he should encourage a culture of learning, a culture of experimentation and knowledge, by sharing the competencies and by sharing the adaptability of the employees. This principle, it invests in training programs, or it invests in mentoring relationships and the learning opportunities that supports the career growth or the innovation, and we can say the organizational resilience in a dynamic business environment, right? So, as we've seen that these principles of directing, they provide a framework for the managers to effectively lead and guide the individuals and their team towards the achievement of the organizational objectives, right? So, by executing these principles, by following these principles, managers can foster clarity, they can foster communication, empowerment, the motivation among the employees. Now, applying these principles, these will promote the effective leadership, these will enhance the employee engagement and the support among the organizations for their better success. Now, we'll come to the next topic, which is importance of directing. Now, the first importance is alignment of efforts. Now, this means that directing ensures that individuals and the team efforts are aligned, or we can say they are synchronized with the organizational goals or the objectives, right? So, by clearly communicating the goals, or by providing the guidance and assigning tasks to the employees, directing will always help to focus their efforts towards the achievement, towards achieving the organizational goals. This alignment, this will always prevent the duplication of efforts, it will always minimize the confusions, and will ensure that every action contributes meaningfully towards the organization's strategic directions, right? So the next importance is optimization of resources, which means that effective directing, it will optimize the use of the organizational resources. It will include human, financial, or the technological assets of the organization. Managers will be able to allocate the resources based on the priorities, project requirement, or even the strategic objectives of the organization. The optimization of resources will ensure that the resources are being utilized efficiently so as to maximize the productivity and to minimize the waste which might occur, and to achieve the cost effectiveness in the operations of the organization. uh, Third importance is enhancement of decision making, which means that decision making plays a critical role in the organization, right? So by this process will help to provide the clarity on roles, on responsibilities, and even the decision authority, right? So managers will be able to guide their team in analyzing the information, to evaluate the alternatives, and it will also help to to make them inform about the decisions aligned with the organizational goals. This guidance, it will enhance the decision making quality. It will reduce the risk of errors or the delays which might occur, and it will also help to facilitate the timely responses to the opportunities and the challenges. Now, the fourth importance is promotion of accountability, which means accountability is, it is fostered through directing by clearly defining the roles of the employees, by setting the performance standards, or by setting the performance expectations, we can say, and establishing the mechanism of uh, mechanism for monitoring the progress and the outcomes out of the employees. Managers here will hold the individuals and the teams accountable for the achieving the goals, for meeting the standards, and even if case any error occurs or the standards are not achieved, they will also be accountable for that. The employees here will be held accountable for that also. This will promote a culture of responsibility, a culture of ownership, or we can say a transparency would be maintained between the managers and the employees, where employees can understand their contributions and they will be motivated to perform their best for achieving the organizational goals. Now, the fifth importance is facilitation of communication, which means that directing facilitates effective communication within the organization, which means that managers here will communicate the goals, the expectations, or the feedback and the instruction to the employees. This will ensure a mutual understanding and the alignment between the managers, we can say between the directors and the employees. Open communication channels, they will enable the dialogues, or they will enable the collaborations and problem solving. This will help to to foster a supportive and cohesive work environment, right? So effective communication should be there for better teamwork, for building trust between the employees and the directors, and for enhancing the organizational resilience towards achieving the organizational goals. Now, the fifth importance is employee motivation and engagement, which means that directing will influence the employee motivation and engagement by providing direction, by providing support, and even the recognition for their contribution towards the organization. Clear goals and the expectation will always motivate the employees to perform well, to strive towards achieving the organizational objectives. Managers will empower their team with autonomy, for decision making authority, for fostering a sense of ownership and the pride in their work. This motivation aspect of directing, this will always help to to reduce the turnover, means which will increase the higher job satisfaction of the employees, which will lead to the increased productivity and will also reduce the turnover rate among the organization, thereby this will help to enhance the organizational stability and the performance of the employees. Now, the last importance is adaptability to change, which means that a business world is or business environment is very dynamic. So, in the dynamic business environment, directing will facilitate the adaptation to change by guiding teams in adjusting the strategies, by relocating the resources, and by embracing the new initiative. The managers will communicate the changes effectively. They will provide the clarity on evolving the priorities and to support the employees in navigating the transitions, right? So this proactive approach, this will enable the organizations to respond quickly to the market shifts, towards the technological advancement, and towards the competitive pressures whatever is prevailing in the environment, which will help to maintain a relevant, and this will help to seize the opportunities for growth. Now we can see that uh, after reading all the importance, after having go through by all the importance, we can say that directing serves as a cornerstone of organizational management, which means that it helps to encompass the alignment of efforts, optimum utilization of resources, and even the enhancement of decision making, promotion of accountability, and it facilitates the better communication. It helps to motivate the employees, and it helps to adapt to the changes whatever are prevailing in the environment. So by effective directing activities and by guiding the individuals towards the shared goals, managers can uphold the organization cohesion. They will drive the performance excellency and will foster a culture of collaboration, a culture of innovation, or we can say a sustained success for the organization. Now the next heading is steps of directing. First step is setting objectives. Okay, so setting objective, it will involve defining the clear, specific, or we can say the measurable goals, right? So that will be aligned with the organization's strategic priorities. Now objectives will provide a sense of direction, a sense of purpose, or among the employees, and their efforts collaboratively will be their efforts will be collaborated towards achieving the desired outcomes of the organization. Now they serve as a benchmark for evaluating the performance and the progress, right? So let us understand this with an example. Support in a technological startup, the CEO sets objective for the development team, right? So to launch new software, he has set certain objectives which are to be accomplished within tenure of 6 months, right? So the objectives here, they will include specific features to be implemented, several targets, targets for the employees, for the engagement matrices, and a timeline for testing the full deployment of the plan or the full deployment of the objectives, right? So these objectives will guide the direction process by focusing the team efforts on delivering a functional and a market ready product within the specified time frame, right? So the next step is organizing resources, which means that organizing resources, it means that it involves the allocation of human, financial, or we can say the technological resources, which will be very effective to support the achievement of the objectives. It includes the structuring the roles and responsibilities, coordination of the workflow, and even it will also help to ensure that resources are available and utilized efficiently in the organization. We'll see the third step, which is providing guidance, which is very crucial. Providing guidance means that this will help to clarify the roles, it will communicate the expectations, and it will also help to offer the support to employees to ensure that they understand their responsibilities, and how their work can contribute towards the organizational goals. Managers will provide directions, they will instruct the employees, and they will pass the necessary information for employees to perform their task effectively, which will result towards the organizational attainment of the organizational objective. Now, the fourth step is motivating employees. Means after providing the guidance, it is very important to motivate the employees so that they can work in a synchronization towards the attainment of the organizational objective. Which means that motivating employees, it involves creating a positive work environment in the organization by by recognizing their achievements, by offering them the initiatives, by inspiring the employees to perform their best. Will enhance the job satisfaction, it will increase the engagement of the employees, and it will also help to foster a sense of ownership and commitment in the organizational employees, right, for the achievement of their goals. The last point is monitoring the progress, which means that monitoring progress, it involves tracking the performance matrices, even evaluating the outcomes which are set against the objectives, and it helps to identify the deviations, or we can say the areas for improvement. It enables the managers to assess the effectiveness of the strategies, or to make the data driven decisions, and to take the corrective steps on time, so as to stay on course of the achieving the organizational goals. Second last point is providing feedback. Now, providing feedback, it involves offering a constructive criticism, or even acknowledging the achievement and communicating the performance expectations to the employees. Now, communicating them the true performance, right? And feedbacks will always help to reinforce the positive behavior. It will help to address the areas for improvement, uh, and to guide the employees towards achieving the higher organizational